Hey, what's up everybody out there in learning land? Tyler from TenthumbsPro.com coming at you with another ukulele tutorial like we do every single Wednesday and Saturday. If you like this kind of content, hit subscribe, ring the bell, never miss a lesson. Today we're doing music theory and I'm going to show you how to turn a scale into chords and why that's important. Printable tabs for this tutorial and all our tutorials by becoming a Patreon. You'll see a link in the notes as well as the description, including a direct link pinned in the first tab of the comments. Also in the description, you'll see my email if you want some one-on-one lessons. But if you're ready to do this theory, cool with me, I dig it and I respect it. Grab your ukulele brain attention span, follow me on in, and let's go from scale to chords. Let's do it. So we're going to be doing this through the C major scale, but this is going to work with any scale, all right? And we'll take a little look at that at the end to expand on what I mean by that. C major. Let's review this together. Open C string, 2nd fret. Open E string, 1st fret, 3rd fret, open A, 2nd fret, 3rd fret. The notes: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. All right, still remember them in Spanish too. So if we look at that across the C string as well, it's C, 2nd fret's our D, 4th is our E, 5th is our F, 7th is our G, 9 is A, 11 is B, 12 is our octave C. Okay, now, chords are formed in the scale by playing a note, skipping a note, playing a note, and then skipping a note. Let me show you what I mean. So we want to know, and every note in a scale is the root of a chord. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, all 7 of those notes have their own chord in the key of C. Why is it the key of C? Because we're creating it from the C scale. That's all it means when you say the key of C. When you say the key of C, it means that these chords were created from the C scale. If I say the key of D minor, it means the chords that I'm using came from the D minor scale. Even if I say something like G mixolydian, what I'm saying is the chords I'm using were created using the G mixolydian mode. Now, I know if you're a beginner, you're saying, I don't even know what a mode is, dude. That is a little irrelevant. All I'm trying to illustrate is that when someone says, what key is it? The only thing that they're saying is that this is the scale I used, and these are the chords that were created by that scale. So we have the C scale, and we're going to turn it into chords, and those chords together make the key of C because they came from the C scale. So back to the play a note, skip a note, play a note, skip a note. We start with our C note. The next note was the D note. So we skip that note and we play this next note, E. So we have a C and an E. The next note is an F. We skip that note and we get to a G. We play that one. So we play the C, skip the D and play the E, skip the F and play the G. 0, 4, 7. C, E, G. C chord, C, E, G. So by skipping a note and playing a note, we wrote out these 3 notes, and when we play those 3 notes, C, E, G, we get a C major chord. Okay, well, what happens if we start with D? We play the D note, next note is E, so we skip that one, and we play the F. Then we have the G, we skip that one, next note is A, so we play the A. So we play D, F, A, 2, 5, 9. So if you repeat this whole process, you will see that the C was going to create a C chord, a D minor chord, an E minor chord, an F, a G, an A minor, and then a chord that you're probably not that familiar with, a B diminished. It looks like a G7, but you don't play the G string, B diminished, and a C. For the major scale, that pattern is going to happen every time. So what do I mean by that? Well, C, your first note, will always be a major chord. C note, C major. And again, this is just for the major scale. The next note is D. The second note will always make a minor chord, D minor. The third note is E. Your third chord will always make a minor. So we have E minor. Fourth note, F. Your fourth note will always make a major, F major. Fifth note is G. The G is always going to, or the fifth note is always going to make a major, G major. The sixth note, A, 6 will always be a minor. 7's always going to be that crazy diminished chord. And then back to our root. So if we lay out the notes in the key and we put the chord above them, we get C major, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished, C. And that's going to happen with every single major scale. If you take a major scale out, write all the notes, play a note, skip a note, play a note, skip a note, the first one will always be major, second one always minor, third one always minor, fourth one always major, fifth one always major, sixth one always minor, seventh always diminished, and those will be the 7 chords. So there's a Roman numeral system that is used for this. So you can say, okay, these are the Roman numerals for the chords. The C will have a big Roman numeral because it's major. The D minor will have lowercase I, meaning a minor chord. I. Ay, ay, ay. Ándale, Speedy González, ¿por qué tan rápido? Ame, ¿cómo está corriendo tan rápido? Ay, no entiendo por una rata cómo puedes correr así. Okay, so I, minor chord. F major, so it will be major IV. I got an IV because I'm dehydrated. Yuck, yuck. G, always a major. 5. 6, always minor. So it's going to be the little V and then the I. And then 7's a diminished. It's going to have this little circle next to it, like a degree symbol. And that means it's diminished. And so that is going to be the pattern for every major key. So, I mean, this works for any major key. The key of A. A major is your root. Your second chord is going to be minor, which comes from the B note, B minor. Then the next note, C sharp, C minor. Then the 4 chord, D. It's going to be a major. The 5th note's an E, so it'll be E major. The 6th is F sharp, so it'll be F sharp. And then the last chord is the G sharp, so it's going to be a G sharp diminished, which I only really know how to play way up here. All the major chords. So if you write the notes out of a major, you should instantly be able to turn those into chords and go major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished instantly. And you can do the process of play a note, skip a note, play a note, skip a note, play a note, skip a note, but you don't have to because you have all the information in front of you. There's a couple other things I want to let you know before I let you go. And it's a couple of these chords have a couple special relationships. One of them is the 5 chord, right? We have a G. In the major, the 5 chord and only the 5 chord can become a 7. Now, when I say only, I'm speaking diatonically. Diatonically means using notes in the scale. There are these things called non-diatonic chords, meaning that you can write a chord progression borrowing notes and chords from other keys. But we're not going to get into that because it's hard enough to understand the theory without the exceptions. So let's just kind of stick with what we got going right now. The 5 chord can become a 7. So in this key, G7 is possible. And 5 to 1, 5 is what's known as the dominant, 1 is the tonic. And from the dominant 7 to the 1 is basically the strongest resolution in all of music. So if you're writing a chord progression, you can make that 5 a 7, and going from a G7 to C is essentially the strongest resolution there is. You can also make your minors, you can make any minor a minor 7. So you can make a D minor 7, E minor 7, A minor 7. That's all good. And the 7s are created the same way: the play a note, skip a note, play a note, skip a note. So what happens if we add another note to our C chord? C, E, G. We got that. Well, then the next note is a A, so we skip that. Then the next note's a B. What happens when we add a B note to a C chord? We get a C major 7. In the major key, the 1 chord and the 4 chord become major 7s. So if you look at that, we have a C major 7 for our 1 and an F major 7 for our 4. So now that we've extended these, we've skipped a note and played an extra note to all the chords in the key, we would get C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G7, A minor 7. Well, what about our diminished? We got the B, we skip the C, then we play the D, skip the E and play the F, then we'd skip the G and we would play an A, and we get this chord, which is known as like a B minor 7 flat 5. So you can take the diminished a step further too, but in general, kind of the diminished is a passing chord, something just used to create a little extra tension, but you can add another note to that one as well. So there you go, folks. That is how you take the major scale, turn it into chords, and as well as extend it to its 7th degree. That's also why when you create a chord progression in the key of C, you use these chords and you use the C scale to create melody. And that's why it sounds good, because you're using the scale over the chords that was used to create the chords. And that's why the harmony works. That's why when you play chords in the key of C, and you either sing in the key of C or you jam with the C major scale, of course these notes are going to sound good over these chords, because these notes created these chords. And that's why that works. All right? Hasta la vista, baby. C's always major, D's always minor, E's always minor, F is always major, G is always major, and you can also make it a dominant like a G7, and then you got that B7, which is a lot like a G7, but it doesn't have a G back to C. Roman numeral system is so cool. I study music theory so I don't look like a fool. Oh yeah. All right, if you made it this far in the video, I want you to go ahead right down there, hit that like button. It's the one that looks like a thumbs up. It really does help us, all right? Keep on rocking, keep on rolling, and keep on theorizing. Keep on exploring the theory. Keep on asking why. Why? Why? Like a true philosopher of music. All right, until next time, the sun is right in my eyes. It is a good time for me to have a nice glass of ice water. Take care. Do your homework and rock and roll. Peace, everybody.